Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospers. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. At the end, the Spirit of the Lord says in the season, say yes to the will of the Lord. He says, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love the Lord, you will keep the commandments of the Lord and give him a yes.
1, 2, and 3. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Say Yes with Sherrita. Here at Say Yes, my motto is, if you say yes to the Lord, he will say yes to you. Today on Say Yes, I have a candid conversation. And my candid conversation is with my guest here, Danyelle Bay. And she has a program called Skattered Mindz. So we're going to talk a little bit about Skattered Mindz, what the program is about, and sit back and enjoy. Hi, Danyelle. Thank you for joining me today. Could you just tell me the purpose of Skattered Mindz?
Well, Skattered Mindz, spelled SKATTERDMINDZ, is the purpose of understanding mental health and just to get more insight on mental health so people know how to handle it. Because a lot of people is being mishandled as far as in regular communities and LGBTQ plus communities.
Okay, so yes, people are mishandling a lot of different things about regarding that. So can you tell me what is the goal? Like, what are the things that you do with Skattered Mindz to either help out the people or within the community? Do you have workshops? Do you have any type of programming that you do to, online resources? Like, tell me what your goal is. What is your plan?
Well, I'm affiliated with the Urban League. It's basically to get educated on mental health and the struggles of mental health. Me personally, I am a part of that community, which was basically, I'm bipolar, they say. But it's ways that you can deal with that and ways that you can recognize it. And it's to educate your support system or your peers and whatnot to what to recognize when you see a person that's going through a manic stage or depression or stuff like that. So just to get more educated people, education out about the cause.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I agree 100%. As I'm watching the news, I do recall incidents and episodes where women have been bipolar and the police have literally abused and mishandled right here in Cleveland.
Or don't even believe them. Or believe what they're going through or can see the effects of what.
Right. A few years ago on the news, a young lady, she was bipolar. And what happened is the police literally, they went in because she was in a state of mania. And when she hit that manic state, she became strong. And when the police went in to detain her, they ended up slamming her to the ground and she ended up dying from that incident. And so we do really need to know that there is a fine line between mental health issues and maybe people with drug addictions, and how do we address these things? What are some strategies as a parent? How do you manage?
Well, a lot of that stuff is connected. A lot of people self-medicate themselves.
Absolutely.
And don't know what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? They go out here, they act out, they become promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? All type of things. They don't know what's really going on. And my goal is to just teach people how to recognize that. Recognize not just bipolar though, just all mental health situations.
Health issues, right.
It should be like a class for stuff like that in high school before you go to college, and just stuff that just more knowledge about it. A signature class, like you can sign in, and they teach you about the symptoms of mental health and what to look for.
Right, because a lot of people. I remember being on vacation, and the young lady had a dog with her, and that dog that she was carrying with her was because she literally was a manic depressed person, and she could not. She had anxiety, depression, and other things. So she literally had the dog with her to keep management of her emotions and her mental state, because she had to come outside, she had to obviously go wherever she needed to go to, and she had to travel back. And so, animals are a support system for stress, for anxiety, and for depression. Also, our lifestyles, and also, a lot of times people need to learn, okay, I've got to manage my past, my present, and I've got to be prepared for the future. Because if you learn stress management, because you're fight or flight, how am I going to react if this happens? How am I going to react? So what do I do to keep myself prepared? In dealing with children, I take classes I just took a class on autism. And so I know autism, I know that the fits that they have can be...
or lack thereof.
Right, right.
Or lack thereof, because sometimes they don't communicate.
Exactly. They don't communicate, but in comparing it with mental health, you've got to be able to, because some people are high functioning with other things besides bipolar disorder. There are people out here that have autism, and we've got to know how to autism and Down syndrome, and we've got to know how to communicate with these people. So if this person, like I personally, if a person is in a certain phase or a certain state of rumbling or rage, okay, I know how to maybe go in and to recognize it and maybe bring them down, or how to, to make this a less manic situation.
Because you're trained for it.
Exactly.
But I'm trying to set up an app where you can kind of like go on the app and see different side effects and different, things that you just need to pay to just educate a person more without actually going to school.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just need to know before you even get to that point of school,
Right.
Like, and then a lot comes later on in life. Like, people don't know, like, some mental health skyrocket when you have kids. Like, you will have a condition, and then when you have a kid, it'll make it surface.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, just pretty much educating people. So if we can prevent a lot as far as suicide, as far as like drugs, everything.
Exactly.
That's what's scattered.
Because a lot of people, when it comes down to, people that are bipolar and having other mental issues, they do become stressed out. They do become suicidal. They do have other issues that are associated with this topic. So it is very important, and not only is it important for yourself and stress management, but it's also important because you've got to be able to function in everyday society, without having, meltdowns.
You know what? My thing is, I want other people to recognize. You know what I'm saying? Because we can prevent a lot. If people just get the education of mental health. And we can prevent a lot of deaths, we can prevent suicide, we can prevent a lot, if people just know. And then when you don't know nothing, you don't know how to handle it. You know what I'm saying? So
I got you.
Just trying to figure out how to get that out there.
I got
because I got mishandled, and I could have prevented myself a lot of different strife and my kids' strife if I was handled in the right way. So.
Right. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And the more you know, the more you can grow. And it's a blessing that you have the mindset to, not only am I going to empower myself, because Skattered Mindz is self-empowerment first.
Absolutely.
Because I've got to get me together, and I'm going to help other folks get together. So that is where the blessing comes in.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
You can't pour from an empty cup at all. So, so that's basically, I just want, to know how to chat that. And I have, we doing certain sales of apparel and just little accessories to feed that cause.
I got you.
So.
Okay, yep. Do you want to talk more about your situation? Like, when you when you have a bipolar episode, what may happen?
Well,
Is
to
it
God
like-
be the glory. I am very self-aware, so I can feel and I can see when I'm having one. I can see, like, one of the key things, I might get to overspending, or I get mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get zero tolerance. Like, so I have to pull back and regroup, then come back at it. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I had to learn on my own.
Mm-hmm.
By being mishandled, I had to kind of learn on my own, and I wasn't about to go out and fight without a fight.
I got you.
You know, so.
I got you. When you say mishandled, let's talk about that.
I'm a mother. I'm a daughter of a teenage mom.
Okay.
That was one and done.
Okay, I got you.
She didn't want no more after me. I was her son, her daughter, everything.
I got you.
But she didn't understand what I was going through. She didn't understand, and then I'm gifted too. So the combination of the spiritual gift on top of the physical mental health thing, you know what I'm saying? It was a combination. So I would be feeling something, and then I'll go through something. She didn't know how to handle that.
Okay.
You know, it made her kind of off balance. You know what I'm saying? Because she being young. So I feel as though it should, back on the topic, I'm sorry, I got to let
we were talking about your testimony. And so your testimony is however you feel however you choose to share it.
Yeah, I was young. She was young when she had me.
Mm-hmm.
And I also seen a lot, you know. And she, you know, when you have one kid, it's not too hard to find a babysitter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here, there, and everywhere. Learning things on my own, you know, ending up pretty much kind of being raised by TV. Or just, you know, the third wheeling kid, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what I see on TV is what I mimic.
What you relate to.
End up being a teenage mom because of that. Okay, I'm going to just get me a family. I got a mother, I got a father. I'm going to figure it out.
I got you.
I'm not going to cry.
No, I got you. I cry a lot too, so I get
But
it.
to God be the glory, He brought me through everything that I've been through.
Right. And maybe it's not necessarily that you are bipolar, but a lot of times we have stress and we have anxiety. We have. No, that's fine.
I wasn't trying to cry.
That's fine.
But you know, just having to wheel and deal on your own and being on your own, being a do-over. That's why I kind of fight for my kids, you know, to make it through past their teenage years, and so we won't repeat the same thing.
The same cycle.
But one became 5, searching for something. 5 kids, 3 baby daddies. You know what I'm saying? Searching for something.
Right.
And
And maybe it's not the factor that it's necessarily a mental disorder, so to speak, but how do we deal with childhood trauma? You know, you were raised by a parent, and it's not your mom's fault necessarily 100%, but nobody there's not a handbook on how to be a mother as a teenager. So what then happens is now you have self-awareness.
Yeah.
So now you can dig deep and say, you know what, I'm going to break this cycle. You know, and that's the whole thing. It's about deliverance.
Yeah.
It's about deliverance. It's being delivered from a negative mindset and being restored and being given the revelation of a new way of being and a new way of becoming. And what you've got to do is you've got to just maybe dig deep into your heart and say, you know what? Look at yourself every day in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm going to be the best me that I can be, and then move in it. And so then when you have moments where you feel some type of way, because anger is natural, it's natural. Everyone gets angry.
Yeah, emotions are natural.
Emotion is natural.
We are
so when your emotions you have got to find a strategy to say, well, okay, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And then the other thing you focus on is not being that person that self-medicates or self-reliant on FDA-regulated medication.
And that's the point of Skattered Mindz, because I didn't know that. I didn't have no one to tell me that. The child, you know what I'm saying? So I pretty much winged it and learned it on my own, and made the image of what I want to be for myself. Because when you bump your head so many times, they say that the meaning of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And that's what I was doing, driving myself insane. You know, so I decided to grab the bull by its horn and, you know, just make my own way, make my own legacy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what created this.
Yes.
You know, and part of my testimony, I had to go through all of that, like drugs, abuse,
bad relationships,
everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to get where you're at. But then, to God, like I said, to God be the glory. Once I asked him to remove a lot of negativity and stuff from my heart and my mind and just in my life, he did and gave me what I needed. At the end of the day, I just feel as though everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Everything happens for a reason, and everything I've been through is to help somebody, because I've always been that person, you know?
I got you.
And you can't help nobody if you don't have no knowledge of it.
Exactly.
So it's a gift and a curse, you know?
It's
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, my journey.
Your journey. But see, the thing of it is that...
I turned the gift into a curse. I mean, a curse into a gift.
curse into a gift. Yes, absolutely. And that's a blessing. So, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to take your testimony, you've got to take your story, and there is another single woman that is out there, and that's the purpose of your organization. So what Skattered Mindz can do is help other single parents teach them self-love, teach them that they are worthy, that they are beautiful, and that they are special. And what we've got to also do is learn that we are blessed, loved, and we are special without, regardless of whether there is a man there or not. We've got to wake up and say, you know what? I am all that in a bag of chips, so to speak. And that's the first step into having the right self-esteem.
But you know, one thing I do know is you can't get nowhere by yourself. And it's not a bad thing to ask for help. A lot of people so stuck in their pride and don't want to ask for help, and to keep, you know, and it makes it harder on themselves. So that's the point of the app. And I was trying to create Rage Page, Scattered Rage podcast with my son, where you can call in and just vent. You know, that's it. Talk about it, vent. Sometimes people don't have nobody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard not to have nobody to vent to, talk to, and trust with your secrets. You know what I'm saying? Or your pain and your heartaches. So.
And that's a good thing. And you know what? I mean, that can be something that you work on even for yourself. Because, you know, I know somebody that does 1-800 numbers, and what you can do is set up a 1-800 number and say, you know what, every Tuesday you can call and either vent. I don't know how to do Zoom and different things like that.
I'll just go through the podcast because, you know, you don't have to be seen if you pop up in there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the same thing, just without the call.
Got you.
You know, yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but everybody needs somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
Unjudgmentally, you know?
Right.
Without judgment.
Right. I do agree wholeheartedly, you know? And so the thing of it is let's talk about your products a little bit. You have t-shirts and other things, and you have a brand. Do you have a website or?
Not at the moment, I don't. I'm still kind of in the making. But I'm making tie-dye shirts, personally made, tie-dye shirts, and paint splatter shirts. You know, a beautiful mess. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just for the support and just for us to gain monetary for the cause. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what that's for, but that's not the main thing. It's basically like a counseling thing. Counseling, just encouragement, and just, you know, awareness of what's going on. You know, a lot of people is oblivious of mental health and just oblivious to just heartache. Like one of my topics on Scattered Rage was, what is a broken heart? Like, what really is a broken heart?
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Do you know how many broken hearts it is? You know?
I got you.
Broken heart can come from so many things.
Exactly. You can be broken. Your parents can break your heart.
Yeah.
Your sibling can break. Yes, your siblings can break your heart.
Best friend, or just a rejection, or just a letdown. It don't even have to be a person. It could be an action.
It could be just,
you know,
there are so many different causes of a broken heart. I agree.
So, I think that it'd be good to just delve into that, you know, and see, you know, what really breaks people's hearts sometimes, you know. So.
Okay. Well, this is what I'm going to do is because I let my paperwork on my nonprofit consulting lapse, but I occasionally will take small assignments or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So what I will do is I'm real good with organizing and things like that. So any area that you need some assistance in, whether it's you know, getting the podcast off the ground,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just maybe accountability partner, somebody to call you and say, are you working on, you know, helping somebody else today? Who have you helped this week? You know, because sometimes you get so overwhelmed to the point where you're trying to do too many things at one time that you need a little nudge and a little push and, you know, somebody that is sitting there as a support system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's all it is a support system. When you have one person or two people that touch and agree in anything, there's strength in numbers. So if because there's strength in numbers, you know, you can come together. One can chase 1,000.
Yeah.
Two can chase 2 to 10,000. But if we have 3 or 4 folks working for the same cause, we can smash down millions and annihilate and help so many women. That's just like the lady in Texas. You know, she had postpartum depression or something. You know, postpartum depression is a form of mental illness. And
it's real.
It's real.
People
and
don't
so,
understand.
you know, people end up harming their children over momentary emotional discomfort or a momentary
hormone imbalance.
Exactly.
It's all of that all comes into play too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you have to. It's ways that you can help your chemical imbalance. Like mental health is considered a chemical imbalance.
Exactly.
It's things that you can eat. It's vitamins you can take to just lighten the load.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want to just put that type of stuff out there. You know, because
Right.
some people don't know. They be like, I just feel crazy. I'm all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And it's things that you can do to get you back. Like turmeric is one thing. I was talking to, you know, my cousin about, like, that's something that helps with your mental health and your balance.
Right.
You know, so.
L-tyrosine also helps. It
What's
helps.
that?
L-tyrosine, it can be found at it's called L, the letter L, and then it's a dash, and then it's called Tyrosine.
Is that a natural supplement?
It's a natural supplement. It can be found at, L-tyrosine is found at, I'm almost certain to have it at Walmart, as well as Whole Foods.
If you can, when you get a chance after
It's at Whole Foods.
please send me that.
It's at
'cause I
Whole
wanna know
Foods.
about that too.
I learned about that. I have a homeopathic specialist, and I called him and I said, you know what? I'm in class, and being a mommy right now is stressful. Taking all of my classes is stressful. You know, because I was, you know, when you getting all A's and B's and you are, you know, dean's listed and all of that other stuff, and you're trying to carry on the whole household and everything by yourself, it was just like, at the end, it was stressful. It became almost overwhelming because I was wearing multiple hats at one time alone. So when I called him, he was just like, well, you know, try this, try that, and try the other. So he gave me a combination, and I ran into L-tyrosine in the process, and that helped me finish my last 2 quarters of school.
Wow.
Yeah,
I need
because
to
it helps you to keep a focus,
That's
and
what
then
I
it
need.
helps you to keep balance. Because I was doing so many things to the point where I felt like I was going to crash and burn. You know, and before I crashed and burned, I reached out to somebody and said, hey, look, what can I take for this?
By yourself.
You know, I have had, and not
help.
just that, but I'm at an age where I'm over 40. So at 40, you know, over 40, it's just like, okay, my blood pressure was so high. I was taking.
Preaching to the choir on blood
I was taking hawthorn berry and olive leaf extract because the doctors had prescribed me something, and I felt like I was going to end up in a depends taking the FDA regulated hypertension medication because it was giving me frequent urination. So I was just like, oh, this is right. This is all bad. So I have a homeopathic specialist, and he'll be on the show in the near future. Terry King Bay.
Okay.
He is amazing. I've seen him have people delivered from being on insulin to not being on insulin for
I'm looking
diabetes.
at more holistic medicine
Mm-hmm.
too, because you know what, my cousin works as an RN, and she is two different refrigerators.
Mhm.
One for the Medicaid and one for the people that pay the co-pays and the stuff like that. You know, well, the people that ain't on Medicaid, that's private insurance.
Private pay.
And she used one of the private pays for a Medicaid kid, and they lost it.
Okay.
So it got to be a difference in some of this medicine that they give it to the urban community. But one thing I do want to highlight also is just the balance of a woman needs to be really paid attention to too. Like as far as the mental health, because we do so much and juggle so much.
Absolutely.
And hold so much in, and
Mhm.
sometimes don't have we support everybody else.
Right.
And don't really have that support
Right.
that we need. So that's another thing I would like to highlight. And you know, it's just a combination of things that's under Skattered Mindz. And
Okay.
corporation, that's what it is, Skattered Mindz Corporation.
Okay, well, I would like to thank you for coming to visit me here at Say Yes Today.
My pleasure.
And
Sorry,
that's enough, girl. You know what? I shed so many tears on the show to the point where, you know, I don't talk about my grandparents. There's certain trigger words I don't. I don't talk about certain things because tears come, and that's a natural part. That shows that you're human.
Yeah.
That shows that you have a heart. It shows that you are
Little
alive.
prayers, my mama said.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
So I'm going to conclude today. I'd like to thank Danyelle Bay for joining me for a candid conversation about Skattered Mindz, about mental health, about motherhood, about being a woman. And remember, if you say yes to the Lord, He will say yes to you. And remember that there is a blessing on the other side of your yes. So say yes today. Thank you for tuning in to Say Yes with Sherrita. I will have more candid conversations over the next few weeks. Remember that if you are in a time or a season of distress, pray without ceasing. Pray in season, pray out of season. You have got to be focused. We've got to learn to cast our cares on God that cares for us. We've got to learn to be prayerful. We've got to learn to be mindful. And in times of need and in times of distress, reach out to your local churches. Reach out to friends and family. And if all else fails, pray and give the angels charge over your life, over your day, over your will, and over your way. Because we serve a God that is a God of healing, deliverance, and restoration. He comes in like a strong tower, and He will put the right people in your path at the right time to bring you out of every situation. So know that if you say yes to the Lord, He will say yes to you. Have a blessed day, have a blessed evening, and have a blessed week.
Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospers. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you,